How's it going?
Well, talk about timing, Pete. We've literally just gone live just as you've joined. So
that was impeccable timing.
That was incredible. Literally, the scene changed in OBS just as you joined.
I am that good.
Sense.
That was really good.
Slow children, that's what it is.
So welcome everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Azureish After Dark. Joining myself and Pete this evening is Chris Reddington from Microsoft. So Chris, would you like to tell folks a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So hey everyone, Chris Reddington. So I am a fast track for Azure engineer at Microsoft. So what I do day to day is I help people move onto Azure, whether it's app dev type stuff, which is typically where I focus, and maybe we can explore that a bit. Whether it's things like lift and shift or kind of data workload migrations. We're part of Azure engineering, and really what we're there to do, as I say, is just help onboard customers onto the platform. And two main things that we care about: A, do they have a great experience getting onto the platform? And B, if there are bumps along the way, what can we learn from that? How can we help the product groups make the platform even better than it is? So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
So when you say you're helping the product groups make it even better than it is, do you specialize in specific areas of Azure, or you kind of take in feedback from all customers and then go to the relevant product group around that? Yeah,
gotcha. So I guess we're a program which is funded by Azure Engineering first off. So customers get nominated, they can come onto the program, and then we work with them to get to production. We pretty much take. I think we were talking just before we went live, right? How vast Azure is in terms of the services.
Yeah.
There's so many different services, but the majority would probably be able to come into the program and they're supported one way or another. Me, for example, I focus in the app dev space primarily. So, all your PaaS workloads, your Kubernetes, your IoTs, your DevOps in particular as well. And DevOps is something that I particularly manage to practice inside of Fast Track. So I have all the relationships with folks like GitHub, Azure DevOps, DevTest Labs, and that's kind of how we try and arrange it, is by that broad technical domain, I guess.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess there's really two main areas of interest there. So a lot of my day job is kind of similar in terms of onboarding folks into Azure DevOps and training them around that kind of stuff and Kubernetes, and because I basically our tooling of choice is Azure DevOps to help with things like DevOps transformations and that kind of thing.
Sure.
And then the other bit I'm sure Pete is interested in, which is the IoT side of things.
Woo!
Absolutely. And I can see the robot arm, the elusive, illustrious robot arm just there. Very well framed.
Yeah, we've just got through running a big worldwide workshop, the first one with all the garages across the world, actually.
Awesome.
So that went really well today for the first setup workshop. They've got 2 more planned to get everything up and running with the rest of that .NET 5, Blazor, Signal R, Raspberry Pi, IoT. It's all
awesome project.
Words. Yeah,
we've got a busy weekend of a little bit of coding to get done ahead of a talk we're doing on Monday for the British Computer Society as well, to make it interactive, effectively.
Go on.
For I think we're looking at using again Blazor for the front end and Sigler and some way of queuing up actions. A little bit like again we were talking kind of in the whilst we're getting set up. I guess in the same sense that Twitch played Pokemon Red and that kind of thing. So hopefully it'll work. But we've just got we've just had that much on. We've not had the ability to go back and do it just yet. But it'd be pretty cool.
I'm imagining that Peter's going to have to move slightly further away from the robot arm just in case of any exactly when you start doing that demo.
There's a reason it's only yay big,
I think you could get the robot arm to play as the imposter in Among Us, say, and
Mm.
That would be a really good bluff, wouldn't it? It's no human. It's actually the robot arm.
I like it. Meta. It's quite meta.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering if you could, because I know you can teach through machine learning, like how to play chess and that kind of thing. I wonder if you could do the same for Among Us. Could you code the perfect imposter?
I'm sure you probably could, because all you need is a little bit of like cognitive services or something, do some recognition, maybe put into an Azure ML model, and then based upon certain triggers. It's a fancy if then else kind of tree, isn't
Pretty
it?
much, yeah.
You've probably
Got someone nearby, kill. If there's too many people around, don't kill.
That's true. A good imposter though does some of the tasks, so you
That's
probably
true.
need to teach it to do tasks as well.
Yeah,
That's
you'd have
true.
to teach it to fake tasks. You'd have to teach it to also put stuff into the chat.
Yeah, that's
That's-
easy. That's the easy part.
I think it would be an even better imposter though, because sometimes maybe I'm revealing my playstyle now before we start playing. But if I'm ever an imposter, I forget sometimes what tasks I've already done. So I might double back to the same ones, and then it could maintain that, all of that fun stuff. So it could actually be the perfect imposter, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it. As long as you can kind of, I mean, when I'm saying put stuff in the chat, you need to get it to be able to convince people that then they're either not the imposter or someone else is, which would be pretty cool.
What's the Adel? It's Turing complete, isn't it? Where you've got to convince that it's actually not a robot. So there you go, solve that one, and then solve the imposter. Or not.
Yeah, I mean that's we're getting to Blade Runner territory now, and
exactly.
So that fast track team, it was not that long ago I heard about it, and funnily enough, I heard about it from people adding me on LinkedIn.
Awesome.
So somebody, Alberto
Gorni, yes, yeah.
He added me as in the IoT onboarding part of Fast Track, so that's why we're connected. But it wasn't until I saw LinkedIn that I even knew it was a thing. Now, I know the Azure Advocates, or at least when they used to be, what was it? What was the title before the Azure Advocates? It was something else, wasn't it?
Technical evangelists.
Yeah, technical evangelists. Now they used to go, and probably there are parts of that old team that still do this. They used to go and sit with customers and actually help onboard them on site, which doesn't happen today because of COVID.
Of course,
the practice, I guess, still happens remotely. What's the difference between what they do and what you do?
So I guess there's a couple of things. Number one is we actually sit inside of Azure Engineering, so we've got those close ties with the project group. That comes up that we need their help unblocking, or we need to go ahead and critically raise some feedback. We've got some of those ties, so obviously not promising every time we can get that done, but hopefully we can get those unblocked. And we're actually designed to be a remote service, so I'm about 4 years in this team now, actually, and I think we're about 4.5 or 5 years old. I was one of the first few in the team, and we've gone, I think over that time we've evolved in terms of what we did. So we started off very much as like that IaaS foundations, how here's the basics of compute, networking, storage. And I think even over those last 4 years, we've really seen how customers are changing what they need and growing and getting more complex in terms of the workloads that they're doing. So we're not a replacement, for example, for like any consultancies or partners or actual customers doing it themselves at all. There's still a need for people to be hands-on, but I guess we're that voice from engineering, helping inject some of those recommended practices along the way, just helping give you that bit of a sanity check, not necessarily a rubber stamp or anything like that, but just that extra thought process in terms of, have you thought about this? We've seen this with some other customers, for example.
Do you mean like kind of also almost showing folks the intended use rather than how it might be actually used?
yeah. I think there are times I've encountered that, and this is the other thing, right? You've probably seen from some of my own podcasts and shows I've been doing that there's always this concept of the perfect design and the perfect system, right? But there's always the kind of real world compromises that you've got to go and make, right? In terms of time or cost or just integrating with other stuff. So,
Yeah.
There's always trade-offs. And I think that's one of the things as well is the team has a wealth of experience from whether it's other areas of Microsoft they've worked in, or whether it's other companies they've worked in and came externally. They bring that experience and that background as well. So, like I focus on the app dev space, like I mentioned, and DevOps. I'm by no means a data expert, right? I would run away from that type of discussion.
Yeah, I'm very much the same. If I need to write a SQL query, I will defer to somebody else.
Jonathan Ralph.
I will refer to Jonathan Ralph, yes. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, but then, we've got people who can deal with that. So I think that's one of the things as well, is like, if you think about the various product groups, their day-to-day job is, how can I make this particular service better? How can I make, AKS better? How can I make Azure Container Registry better? What we kind of bring as this team, because we sit in the customer experience team, we bring this view of, okay, looking across the platform end to end, where are those experiences that maybe don't gel so nicely together? Based upon our learnings from customer engagements, here's actually some learnings that we could go ahead and give back to the product groups that maybe they haven't thought about.
I had a really interesting. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had a really interesting conversation with one of the PMs recently about a very similar function to that. And I forget what he named the group, but there's a group of people that go through all of the like the MS Learn and the Docs stuff and online and prove it works, or most likely prove it doesn't work, and then they take it to both the product teams and also the people that create that documentation and go, look, this stuff doesn't work. And they sit there with the people on those teams while they go through it and hit those same pain points and those same barriers to be able to make that documentation and that onboarding experience even easier. And there's a further conversation then about the fact that it's very nebulous. A lot of the detail is all spread out in dots and not joined together. There's not very much in the way of solutions. Certainly for IoT, because it touches so many services, there's not many solutions with that. And so I think this is trying to be picked up internally, and I guess that speaks to what you're talking about.
I think that's kind of why you've created IoT Live as well, isn't it? To try and show real world solutions to problems. Because we were talking, I think it must have been on the last show with Paul DiCarlo, and we were saying that cool. There's loads of talks out there and loads of video demos going, look at this cool thing I can do with a Raspberry Pi and stuff like that. But what benefit is it to me as a developer? Why would I want to do that? And there's not enough of that out there. And I think that's kind of true of a lot of general talks as well. It's kind of like, here's a quick tech demo or this thing that I know and that kind of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that, because there's some really, really great quality stuff out there, but you don't really ever get to see the whole end-to-end thing. And that's kind of another reason, we created Azureish Live, is so we can go, here's a project, we're going to talk about it as if it's a real world thing, and we're going to spend X number of episodes building it, like one of those build your own Millennium Falcon magazines over a number of weeks.
Don't start talking to me about Star Wars, because I've got a lightsaber right here ready to go.
Did you get the custom made ones in the end?
I didn't go custom made. I went for the Force FX ones, but I have a bad habit of when I start collecting something, I start collecting. So I've got a few lightsabers piling up that will probably end up going behind me at some point.
I've got. I mean, we're going to talk Star Wars now. Let's be honest. So I've got.
I'll see you later.
So I upstairs, I've got a couple of the Master Replicas ones that I bought way before they weren't a thing anymore. So I've got they're just in the spare room at the moment, because I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put them in here, and I want to figure out where to put stuff on the walls in here. But I've got like the Mace Windu one and the Darth Vader one.
Funny enough, those are two of the ones that I've got sat on the side there as well. Yeah.
But even then, like Master Replicas, when they were a business, you'll like this, Pete. They did some really, really great stuff. If you take a look on Google at the original series Enterprise Master Replica model that they did, where it was studio scale, and like you had to plug it in as well, and you had all lights and stuff, and the nacelles would swirl and that kind of thing. It was really cool stuff.
Nice.
I mean,
Am I spotting the Trekkie versus Star Wars debate here? Is this what I'm?
I don't think we really have a debate. I think as long as it's sci-fi, we'll watch it.
Yeah, that's pretty right. And our team, we're pretty agnostic, aren't we?
Yeah.
Unless it comes to cloud platforms, and then it's Azure.
Yeah. Well, yes, that is Azure. I mean, I could tell you what AWS stands for, but I don't think we're after the watershed.
We want to remain children friendly. There are people watching in America or something like that.
Yeah.
So tell me, the Fast Track team, is that a service that you pay for like everything else in Azure, or is that something?
Good question. No, so we're actually a no-cost service. So,
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and this is where, again, we're really not a replacement for anything like consulting or partners because, we're not hands-on keyboard. We're not there to implement. We're there mainly, as I say, to be that advisory role. So typically we get customers nominated either by themselves, by their partners, or by their account teams if they've got a relationship with Microsoft. And then there's obviously some sets of criteria because we're a program funded by Microsoft. There needs to be some checks and balances about who can be part of the program. And if they meet that criteria, then they're part of the program. And it's done on a project basis. So it's not like we're, again, replacing any other parts of Microsoft where they have those long-term existing relationships. We're there for that specific project. Let's help you get to production with that. Great, that's done. That we'll take that step back now, and if you've got another project, cool. Maybe let's take a look, see if we can help you there. Otherwise, thank you very much, and we'll move on from that.
How does that entry process work? How does somebody who's watching this go, oh, that sounds like a really cool idea? How do the...
Yeah, so there is a web page, actually. So one of the Microsoft doc pages or one of the marketing pages. So if they just search Fast Track for Azure, all the details are on there. I think it's been a while since I've actually looked at the public page, to be honest. But I think there was a chat box at the bottom of the screen there, and you can go through that.
There's the Microsoft.com / and then whatever your region is, and then / Fast Track. Move confidently to the cloud with Fast Track, and then you can sign in, I guess. Work or school account required, interestingly. So I wouldn't be able to sign in with my MVP sign in. I'd have to sign in with my Office 365. Get that to work.
Yeah, there we go. I'm just on the page now, and there's a section at the bottom there. So customers, you can start a chat to check your eligibility. And then for partners, they can nominate customers through, I guess, a particular partner portal by the looks of it.
Yeah, I think we work with a Microsoft partner. I think I've seen that portal to where you can do that. So I guess we're a couple of minutes out from starting getting into Among Us, but I guess I've got one kind of question, and it's partly something I think Pete's even asked me the question for this, but it's one I get asked a lot, and I have a fairly boilerplate answer, I guess, to the question that I always get, which is why with all the investment that there is in GitHub now and everything else, why would I say use Azure DevOps or GitHub? What would be the considerations to go through to go from one to the other? Yeah,
good question. And I think it's something obviously I'm hearing a lot more about, given Microsoft invested in GitHub and bought it however many years ago now. I think the thing from my perspective, what I see is GitHub's great. I love GitHub, don't get me wrong at all. I think there's some great things coming on the DevSecOps side when you look at Dependabot and that end-to-end story that it can do there. But there are still some things that I think for the types of customers we would probably work with, it doesn't yet have. One of the main ones being when you think about where GitHub is deployed, there isn't really a European region, right? So if anyone has data sovereignty concerns, that's instantly gone and out of the water. When you think about, and this is a double-edged sword, I guess, but Azure DevOps permissions model is very, very granular. There's lots of different ways that you can go and set those permissions.
Yeah, the object level stuff is really powerful.
Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword because yes, it can be complex to manage at the same time. I get that, but obviously there's tips and tricks to going and doing that. But then GitHub's level isn't quite as granular. When you look at GitHub Actions, for example, the environments functionality only just came just before Christmas. The manual approvals only just came just before Christmas. So there's still not that parity there yet between the two different services. And I think for open source type projects, and if you're going net new into kind of a DevOps workload, you need to kind of evaluate piece by piece really what you're looking at.
Yeah, the bits that you're going to use and what makes sense.
Exactly.
I mean, there's also an element of that as well. I apologize if you can hear a lot of background noise from me at the moment. I have a plane going really low over the top of my house.
Hopefully not too low.
I'm not. I actually don't live too far from East Midlands Airport, so I think they kind of change the flight path slightly every few months, and now I feel like landing is right over my head. So, but hopefully, because of all the background noise suppression thing, it should be okay. But I guess the one major difference I find as well is cost. So while it's free for organizations to a point, if you want all the enterprise features, for a basic licensing in Azure DevOps, you're looking at what, $5 ish a user, maybe $6. Whereas for enterprise, for GitHub, it's $21 a seat essentially.
And I'm curious whether that will. Obviously, I don't know anything. I'm not a licensing or a commercial person at all. I'm a techie, but it'll be interesting to see how that evolves over time. Yeah. But no, like I say, I'm a big fan of GitHub. I think where they're going with GitHub Actions, for example, is really interesting. The fact that you can just go ahead and pull an action from a repository, because that's basically what it is. It's one and the same. Again, double-edged sword, right? It means the community can grow the actions that are out there. But if I'm an enterprise, do I necessarily trust all of the things that are out there from the community? I want, a Microsoft vetted Azure action, for example, and that's something I've been working with that team on actually, about more samples and more clarity on that type of stuff. But yeah, swings and roundabouts. I think they're both great services. I think they both do what they're meant to do, right? But they also play nicely well together. It's not just a case of I have to go one way or the other. You could absolutely have your repositories over in GitHub, but still doing your pipelines over in Azure DevOps and hosting your artifacts over there. So,
in fact, that's what we do for Azureish Live. All our repos are publicly available on GitHub, but then the project that we're doing at the moment is actually a zero-touch CI/CD pipeline in Azure DevOps, but we're going back to our repos and we're storing all our pipeline YAML in GitHub.
Nice. Yep. Yeah. And I think we'll see that probably for a while. While the parity is getting there on the GitHub side, and it's not like things are stopped either way on the Azure DevOps side either, because I think it was only last week I saw a blog post on delivery plans. Like, that is an awesome feature, right? When you think about,
I really like
that. In case anyone isn't so familiar with delivery plans, in Azure DevOps you have a few different sections: pipelines, boards, artifacts, repos, test plans. I don't think I've missed any, but they're the different components.
Yeah, that's pretty much most of it, yeah.
And then inside boards, that's where you kind of track all your work items, work in progress, etc. But one of the things is you never really had a good view of being able to look at a portfolio level, so across different projects, across different teams, and track those dependencies across each other. And that's something that is being actively worked on. And some really cool updates actually from the team over the last week there.
Yeah, they've just updated the feature timeline as well, I think, on the site.
Yes, that blog post came out yesterday, I think. Yeah. Exactly. Haven't quite glanced at that one yet. I did see it pop up, but I haven't had a chance to read that one yet.
Cool, right.
Microsoft, they're dog fooding, aren't they, anyway, on Azure DevOps? Because that's what they're using internally, isn't it? So, I mean, that's going to stay around for a while, you'd imagine, because there's quite a lot of services. I mean, the whole Xamarin
Visual Studio is on there as well, I think, isn't it?
So people worry that it's going to go away because of what they're doing with GitHub, but not for good.
And I think when you listen Exactly, and I think when you listen to folks like Abel Wang or Donovan Brown, they've told the DevOps story from Microsoft plenty of times, so you can get a hint, right, at how intertwined Azure DevOps is with some of that tooling. So, yeah.
Cool. So let's sort of get into game, I guess. So I have got a room. So I've just DM'd you the room code, Chris, for Europe.
On Twitter, was it?
Yeah.
We might need to switch to US. It's not working for me.
That sucks for you, Pete.
Try. I've seen a trick around that. Try switch to US and then switch back.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Let's try that.
We'll see how we.
When that plane went over your head, your mic went all funny where the RTX was trying to get rid of the plane. It was very funny.
It was really low. Like I could hear the windows shaking in my house.
Oh, that still didn't work for me. I'm going to try Asia and then back.
I was going to say, I'm saying this, I can't get onto Europe either.
No, Liam,
all right.
Let's do
Europe. Maybe it was the plane that was the problem.
Let's do North America instead.
Yeah. So hold on. Let me send you this one.
This is what people are tuned in to see, isn't it? Us trying to connect to Among Us.
Yeah, that's what they come for every week, to see how many attempts it takes us to get into Among Us.
I've never managed to connect to Europe, so yeah, I think just defaulting to North America would be the way to go.
Oh, sorry, Pete. I didn't press enter in Slack for you. That's my bad.
Thanks. Yeah.
I've realised before we start streaming, I needed to change my hat because I still had a Christmas hat on the last time I played.
And Jonathan's still got a toilet roll on his head. So.
Yeah. So, folks, we're going to open the room up to those that are watching as well. I'm going to stick the room code in the Twitch chat. If you want to join us, you can do. We have space in the room. We're going to be playing on the Skeld with one imposter, and basically our usual rule set with visual tasks off, anonymous votes on, and that kind of fun.
I always like to do warm-up laps before the game.
Yeah, even while we've been talking, I've been doing that. So whilst it's just been me in here.
This is the danger. I'm going to start tuning out of the conversation, and I need to focus on that. I'm a terrible multitasker.
We'll wait till about eight players, and then I'll click start.
There we are. Done.
There we go. Okay.
So, which particular area of tech are you focusing on there, Chris? Is there a particular area, or is it broad?
Yeah, so primarily, like I say, app dev. So where I typically focus is things like Kubernetes, things like DevOps, so Azure DevOps, GitHub, and then all the PaaS services really. So I see a lot of app service coming in. You probably noticed by some of the content I'm pushing out on Cloud with Chris, a lot of static content type work as well. So going into that serverless space as well there.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we're doing with Azureish Live at the minute as well. Is we're going down the let's try and do everything with serverless and static sites. So our Git Watcher thing, like I say, I don't know if you've seen our main show, but our Git Watcher is all Blazor WebAssembly, but standalone, running out of a storage account, and then our API is all function apps. So it's all really, really cool stuff, and it's basically costing us nothing to run.
Yeah, and I like that kind of architecture. I was doing something probably last year or so. Another pet project. I started collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards, so I wanted like a multi-tenant kind of inventory system.
Yeah,
did the same. All serverless, was ready to go multi-region if I needed it to go as well. And again, pennies. I think the biggest thing was Cosmos DB. For obvious reasons, as a database, that's going to be your biggest cost. So,
really well, exactly.
Cheaper now, though, isn't it? They reduced the cost on it recently, didn't they?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So that's a good question actually. So I don't know if you've got any tips around this, Chris, but the thing I find people get wrong almost fairly often and easily is how many RUs they need.
Yeah.
What kind of thing do you kind of recommend as a tip, if you've got any, to help people wrap their heads around that, so they don't end up with a Cosmos TV that costs them 250 grand by the end of the year. So.
Yeah, so I think the main thing that I see as the guidance there is don't treat it like a SQL database or a relational database.
Okay.
The way that it works is very different, and performance of Cosmos goes directly in line with NoSQL. Goes directly in line with performance. See, I told you I'm going to be terrible at multitasking. So, if you've got a really poor performing design, it's going to cost you more because you need a higher amount of values to push the throughput through. So I think really evaluate what your kind of setup is. Are you read heavy? Are you write heavy? What kind of queries are you particularly needing to focus on? And then start thinking around those. Would probably be where I would start. And then, like anything, right, monitoring that. Are you actually really going ahead and using it in the way you thought you were, or are some of your assumptions a little bit wrong and you need to maybe tweak the design a little bit? Yeah.
So I've seen Pete's body in admin, but I didn't see anybody in there.
Yeah, I'm dead.
In admin. So I think it was Light Green found the body last time, or reported.
Yeah, it was me that reported this time.
Okay. Still none the wiser. Red Sass, oh. That's an early claim.
Wow. Of course, John's definitely going to have voted for me. John's that kind of guy, because I'll do that, because I do exactly the same to him.
Yeah, but Johnny will be watching the stream, I bet. So, or will he? I don't know.
I think he's pretty good when he's playing.
Is he? Okay,
yeah.
Good man. Yeah. We'll find out if he answers.
That would be way too much multitasking. Trying to focus on the
discussion,
watching the stream and and playing.
I wonder if we won. I wonder if that was.
Oh, and Sarah just dropped out. So we've now got.
We won. I think she was the imposter.
No, we're okay.
Oh.
One imposter remains. Okay, so tasks. Okay.
I'll tweet that pizza on the table. I'll do that.
See. Oh no, this
some of these tasks are ridiculously easy, like just pick something, and some of them are like, actually, I find that quite hard.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to do the switches when somebody else is doing them.
Oh, in electrical,
electrical, yeah. If the lights are off, as an imposter, you can be quite mean with that, actually.
Oh, in fact, right, chaps, I've got. I mean, it's been big on Twitter for the last couple of days, but I need to know where you stand on this baked beans on Weetabix thing.
Oh,
that's disgusting. Why would you do that?
It's absolutely disgusting.
Right?
Social media is brilliant behind it. But yeah, disgusting.
I've really enjoyed all of the other brands replying to it, like Alexa, how do I delete someone else's tweet? And that kind of thing.
Some of the police forces saying, there's nothing against the law here, but that's absolutely criminal.
Yeah.
There's some great ones out there. Ooh.
Oh, DB.
'Tis me that is dead.
Oh,
man. Well, it was definitely Liam then. He murdered himself.
It's happened before. It'll happen. Just not this game.
I have zero ideas because I haven't been near any of the bodies. So I haven't seen anyone at all. So I'm
Other than me
clueless.
actually dying, I'm skip. I don't know. I'm going to skip. I think, but I can't because I'm dead.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
I've gone just for a gut instinct vote here. Oh, someone voted me.
Oh, whoever that was the imposter. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is why it's good when you have the kind of colours of the votes turned off, because then there's still that element of mystery.
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go finish my last task whilst I'm ghosting around. Because we aren't that far off of completing all the tasks for winning.
I've done it. I've finished my tasks.
Yeah, I've just done my last one, which was some wiring.
I did a task in this that I've never done before. How many games have we had of this? But
Far too many. I don't look at my Steam amount of time played on this game.
Oh, no.
Bottom right hand corner of the map, there's like a little alcove
Shields.
in there, and it might be. And it was like, yeah, it was shields. You've got like areas you've got to click on to enable stuff.
There we go. God,
I was ready to call it.
I had a suspicion as soon as they said I was sus. I mean, I don't know if that's just automatically thinking that of people who call me sus anyway, but
yeah. Unless it's my daughter, she calls everyone sus.
Yeah.
I love how that's like become a thing just in normal life now as well. Oh, you're sus.
Yeah. That'll be in the dictionary.
There's many a emoji that we've added to Slack for this purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start with 6 people.
People that put in the chat, people that put start in the chat and then leave almost immediately after. I mean, no, the more people, the better. Surely start with 6 people.
Honestly, it's really good fun when you've got a game 10
full of people.
Yeah. And
so
then,
there you go.
well, there you go.
Oh, we got 8 now. Yeah.
So, like at Christmas, we got a load of the guys off from Octopus Deploy. We had Kayla Cinnamon come and join us. We had
Kayla was awesome, yeah.
Dominic Top from HashiCorp come join us, and we basically had a full game. Look, see, there you go. They've now 2 people have left.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good. We had like a full game of 10 people that were all hosts and guests.
Have you played any of the other maps?
Yeah, we played a few. We played both of the other 2.
Couldn't get on with it though.
I didn't mind it too much. That what's the last? Is it Polus? The outdoor one?
With all the snow and everything.
Yeah, that I liked. The one that's kind of in the air is I couldn't work out where everything was.
Yeah, that one I've not really played. I've watched people stream it. Polus though I like.
I think I've learned where everything is enough on this one that I don't have to look at a map anymore.
Yeah. I played it a ton before Christmas, but not so much lately, actually. Oh. So
Somebody's dead again.
Just outside Com. Oh, wow. Oh, wait, no, 2 people left.
Yeah, 2 people left.
Yeah, just outside comms, and the door shut just as I reported.
Okay. Did you see anyone?
No.
We go with a skip. I say that.
Ooh.
He's not. It's just John. Just John.
Done deal. That's it.
If Pete was alive, I'd say Pete was sus.
Yeah, don't ever do that because I never ever seem to get the imposter ever. Weirdly, so that's quite annoying.
See, I've had that. Never get it, and then get it like 3 rounds in a row.
Jeez. Right. Oh,
Have you had the align engine output task before, Pete?
yes. Yeah. That's like just a little spacecrafty type thing, I think, isn't it?
Well, it's like a slider and then the two engines that you have to line up with the line. And
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
don't go the wrong way.
The worst
I think I've had
task...
all of them now. But sorry, go on.
I was just going to say the worst task to have while streaming and trying to multitask is to calibrate distributor in the electrical.
Oh, well, you got to get the timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those spinning wheels.
Fixed lights.
I think I just had about like 7 attempts on that.
It is nice and easy when you're a ghost, though.
Doors have just shut. No, okay. Black is following me around.
I just went into security.
I mean, I get that you're an
Ooh.
imposter, but you know you can sabotage other things, right?
Oh. Did someone go into reactor?
I can't see enough. I'm going to risk going to electrical, and I would.
Oh.
To accept that I've had power. Oh, I found miles away. I wasn't even paying attention to the screen. So it's not John, because he's dead.
So he is.
I just found him.
I think it might be Black. Because I'm sure they followed you into reactor and then you left. I went over to
Yeah,
reactor and
I
they weren't
feel
there.
like it's Black because they were sticking to me pretty close.
Red safe, it says burp.
Yep, but I'm gonna still vote Black because they were following me.
Sus. Yep.
Yeah, blue was in the side cams.
I was.
So it's blue or black. There you go.
Bye, Black. Yep. You're gone.
Let's see if we were right.
No.
It's like,
Well, that was bad, wasn't it?
whoops. So it's either Chris or Yellow
Or you.
or me, potentially.
Or you.
Oh,
No.
just as I started to download, I'm too far away. No, I'm not
That's
too
not good. On 3 people, they've played before, they know. We called it. Right, let's go to the cafeteria. No, rock out. Run to cafeteria.
Oh, wait, I've just seen Yellow vent. I just saw Yellow vent. Oh my god.
Vent, yeah. I was ready to go and get the...
God damn it, yeah.
That's rubbish.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
Yellow did really well to throw me off
That
when
was
I was in
good.
cams.
Oh man.
Liam, I've just finished printing the main box for my OBS stream cam.
Cool.
I don't know whether that comes out. I've not got the
Yeah, it's coming through okay.
Yeah. So this is a replacement for the Elgato stream cam that Liam's got on his desk there.
I have.
But this is with a Raspberry Pi Pico, and it's behaving as a HID device. Oh, look at that! There you are. So, but it was like 140 quid if you can actually manage to get them, and they are dead cool. But
yeah, that's kind of the problem
£4
now. Like because they're harder to get hold of, but they're getting scalped. I was lucky to get one when I did.
That's the actual wiring down there. So
cool.
It's got 12 buttons connected to the Pico and well, actually 10 LEDs connected to that board down there and resistors. So when you press a button, it lights up which one you've selected. So I've 3D printed it all, and I've got the buttons, the keycaps are 3D printing in the background over there. and I was just going to stick labels on them. But you can 3D print what you like. So I saw somebody had like a little Darth Vader that they 3D printed for a keycap.
Nice.
But you can what you call it as well, like so you can get resin ones.
Yes, yeah.
I mean my keyboard's all mechanical as well, so I can slap stuff on. In fact, it is a Razer Black Widow Chroma, and Razer, if you are watching, you should see the amount of Razer gear we use. So please come sponsor us for newer Razer, so we can have some newer Razer gear, please. Thank you.
Or let me buy the Razer laptop that you were pasting the link to.
Oh, the Blade, this year's Blade 15. Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, like it's I really like my Stream Deck, and I like that I can do the multi-actions thing and that kind of stuff. And that I can put basically any image on the displays. Like tonight, I'm running all through the Stream Deck as well. What I do want to try though is trying out having, say, like for your show, Pete, or anybody else's on our channel, to be honest, that we do shows with, having OBS Ninja like we're using now to have yourself and Chris in, to kind of control it from here and do it as like a separate person, not be on the stream, but try and do it all through what you call it? I've just seen that dead body as well.
Yeah, it was. I think
I was in
you
electrical.
were just below me, weren't you?
Yeah, I just came from storage. I was just doing the data task.
Yeah, I just came from nav. Innocent.
And was it White that's dead? I don't.
Yes, because I think S left. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with Skip because I'm not sure.
What's
so focused on one thing where the task was. I literally
exactly.
saw it just okay.
What's your favorite piece of streaming kit or like kit you've had to get for doing your shows?
Actually, my Stream Deck, but then I've got another bit of software that I run alongside it. So when we're doing Azureish Live, I do streaming from the actual stream from another machine, and all my OBS is running there. But I'll be on this machine doing the coding and everything else. And I've got this bit of kit called Companion, which lets me then control OBS instances remotely over WebSockets, so I can control all the scene changes and stuff from here still without having to faff over there, basically.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's really good
OBS.
for a free bit of software as well.
Gotcha. I've never used OBS Ninja before either.
It does seem to be, because we tried to do it with Teams and NDI, but whilst Teams is great, the NDI stream quality I don't think is quite good enough. Like we did our first Azureish Live show with it, I think, and all of the audio and the video started to go out of sync and all sorts. So we opted to use OBS Ninja as well, and basically it's you've seen it's chuck a link over to somebody, get them to join, and then each person on our stream that's a guest has like an individual feed as if their camera was plugged in to this laptop that I'm running.
Gotcha.
In fact, what's my I was doing my first IoT stream yesterday, IoT Live, and for some reason the NDI was no good. See, my Edge is taking 50% CPU now, and that is just OBS Ninja that's doing that.
Was that in Teams you had challenges with NDI?
Our first stream it was. Yeah, we've not tried it again since. But then yesterday, your NDI was just general new tech or whatever it's called NDI, wasn't it, Pete? The NDI scanner and stuff.
OBS to OBS NDI, yeah.
Yeah, because I use Teams for a lot of my recordings, and generally in the beginning I had challenges, but lately it's been okay.
Yeah, I think that there might have been you need to vote, Pete. I think there might have been an element of when it came out was kind of at the height of everybody kind of moving to teams, so everything was kind of under strain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to try again. I think the other thing is, so because of how we lay our streams out, Ninja makes the most sense because like I say, I get those individual feeds better rather than having to be in the Teams call as well.
Yeah.
And it's kinder on the CPU, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I built this PC August, September last year. Hope respect is probably an understatement.
I bought this. So I bought a Razer, the 2018 Razer Blade laptop at basically the end of 2018, pretty much. And it's been pretty good since. And I picked up their eGPU enclosure and then stuck an RTX 2080 in there, and it's been pretty good throughout. But as I was saying to Pete earlier, like his Surface is great, but it doesn't feel like it's quite got. Even though you pay for the more powerful one, it's still missing a bit of oomph in places, isn't it?
I bought the top one, not the RTX one, because that was like a business only. You had to go a funny way, and it was really expensive. But I paid nearly $3,000 for this, and it's still, 50% just to do OBS Ninja sounds stupid. And I've tried that in Chrome and Firefox, and it's all the same. And I'm having all sorts of problems with the display as well. If I set because I do Pluralsight videos and we now record them in 1080p. If I set my Surface Book to be in 1080p, the screen flickers and turns off and comes back on again. Oh. And I think that's an issue with Windows. And I went through a bunch of support, and they wanted me to drop back a version of Windows, which included downloading that version of Windows and reinstalling it. And no, man, I've got work to do.
You need to vote for Pete. I reckon Black is sus because he's almost been near everybody.
I don't know. I think I've stood near Black and not been killed. So
that doesn't necessarily mean anything, though, does it?
No,
we're not
playing the long game.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, that new what do you call it? The new Blade 15 with the discrete 3070. No, it was a 3080 one that I linked to you, wasn't it? For the price, is incredible.
I'm not sure about Red to Bowen because I'm pretty sure Blue just followed me into another room and didn't do anything.
Well, Blue's Chris.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh yeah, of course. But the same. Yeah.
Actually, Black. Like he just said, it was red.
Yeah. I think it's got to be Black personally, but I am dead and I don't want to influence any votes. But it's Black.
I'm going Black.
Yeah.
Hey, watch. If this is Chris now, then we'll be annoyed.
God damn it!
You are talking to the guy who's played it before, remember?
Yeah.
No!
I
had to keep my poker face on.
That was really well done. Yeah.
Oh no! Whoops! Now I've come out.
Still the same code, Pete.
There was a moment earlier where I can't remember who I killed, but killed someone. Ran out of the corridor, and Johnny was running straight in. I was like, "Oh no, I'm definitely caught." He didn't call me out, so I don't know if he was being nice or he just missed. And then I killed him the next round just to make sure.
I've not even been paying attention to who's who, and I didn't even know it was you. So there you are.
That's why I was a little quiet on that one. I was like, I cannot multitask
here. Beautiful.
Oh,
you left again due to an error.
Oh no, what happened? That's bad. Oh well.
So let's drop out and get so I can get Chris in for another one. Yeah. So right. I'll just try a new one. Where
Johnny Chips will be wondering where we are.
Where's everyone bailing?
Yeah. How rude.
So I'll just put it into our general channel in Slack, Pete, and I'll DM it to you, Chris.
Thank you.
There you go.
So, do you talk at user groups and stuff like that then, Chris? Is that...
So I haven't much in the past, but it's something that I'm starting to do. So
I'm going to interject here and just say I'm looking for speakers.
Happy to do it.
Yep.
Happy to do
.NET
it.
Nots are as well. .NET Nots are as well.
Yeah.
But
No, happy
DevOps,
to.
if it's DevOpsy, then definitely go with Liam because he's got DevOps.
Can talk DevOps, can talk Azure stuff. Like, if you've got certain areas you want to focus on, let me know. But in the past, I haven't so much, not because I can't or have no inclination, just time has been one of the things. But actually, one of the things, I'll say it now, we're kind of towards the end, but I'm actually changing role in Microsoft.
Oh, right, okay.
So I'm becoming a cloud solution architect in a week and a half.
Wow, okay.
So one of the things that drew me to that is I know how focused they are on community, and I want to do more of that. I've spoken at Ignite, I've spoken, I think, Inspire, I've done sessions on the side of Build as well. And done various things, but I want to get big into it again and properly get back into it. So hence doing all the podcasting with Cloud with Chris, and hence speaking at user groups. I think I'm speaking at .NET Limerick in March. I'm doing a session.
I know who runs that, or one of the people that run it. I think Carl is from
Yes.
Nottingham.
Yeah.
Moved over there. Yeah.
And then I'm doing a session in a couple of weeks with Squared Up, one of their webinars. And I've actually taken on organising Azure Thames Valley because it went a little bit inactive, and spoke with the group, and we've managed to revive it and start getting some sessions on the roll again. So
sound almost as busy as I am.
Yeah, yeah, it's a day job.
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
so I think we've like if you need any sort of help with Thames Valley as well, Chris. So Pete and I have plenty of experience in doing those sort of things and speaking as well. So I know I'm just volunteering you here stuff for Pete, but
no, that's fine. Yeah, that's all right.
But yeah, like speakers or any help with anything, just give us a shout. We're more than happy to give you a hand. All we ask in return is you can speak at our respective meetups. You know,
more than happy. Like I say, I want to do more of that, talking and speaking at different groups. So happy to come along. Let's definitely get it set up.
Awesome. What? Oh, that's the yellow arrows. Sometimes just make me think somebody sabotaged something. It's not. It's just me doing stuff.
Yeah. I was about to say you can hear the concentration because it kind of went silent for a few seconds.
It's like, is that something being sabotaged? No, it's just I've got wiring to fix.
So what's kind of the most fun technical thing you're working on at the minute for you both? Would you say, or that you've learned recently? I guess there's been some stuff for me that I've been learning lately, more that I've already blogged on as well, around compliance scanning and that kind of thing in Azure DevOps, using stuff like Terrascan and Trivy for security stuff. But the stuff that the imposter left.
Huh? Oh.
Yeah. Right. Well, we'll give it one more. But in terms of stuff that I'm getting to do at the moment, lots and lots of Kubernetes stuff.
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying that. So I've worked with a few companies now doing Kubernetes deployments to try and make them cloud agnostic as well. So not so much using anything to tie them into Azure or anything like that, but so they could say, let me run on bare metal or that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool.
Using things like Rancher and Nginx Ingress and all those kind of things. So,
or just whacking that into AKS as well, and basically making it effectively a config change to take it into, say, AWS or GKE. And it's interesting because the thing you tend to find, or at least I'm finding, is the different configuration isn't necessarily very different, which is the joy of Kubernetes, right? Yeah.
But it comes with its own challenges, right? I guess that you then suddenly, everyone says, okay, yeah, Kubernetes, PaaS. Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. You start going down the rabbit hole of Kubernetes and all the different things you have to manage. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of it, but sometimes people underestimate it as well, I think.
I know nothing about anything you've just been talking about, by the way. All of those subjects, I know nothing about them. The closest I ever get to that is Docker and IoT Edge.
Yep.
That is I've never done any AKS or anything like that. So yeah, it's interesting to hear. I was laughing because you don't often hear people get excited about AKS, but Liam, you obviously were excited.
Yeah,
about
I think it's a really great bit of technology where I don't have to worry about spinning up the cluster in terms of management. I can just go, I want 3 nodes of this, and I can start deploying manifests to it. Like it's PaaS Kubernetes. It gives me the best of both worlds. The thing that really excites me about Kubernetes as a whole isn't really anything to do with Kubernetes, I guess, but more around the dev experience thing, where if I as dev wanted to build something, I can build everything out exactly as it would be in prod on my local machine, and know that if I run it in my local machine in one way, it will run exactly the same in prod.
Yeah. Proper integration environment and everything in there. Ooh. Orange was just in electrical.
Yeah.
I came from electrical as well. There was a bunch of us. There was about 4 of us in there when I was in there.
Yeah. Johnny was going back towards electrical.
Yeah, Johnny was in there, but he beat me. Like I was going to the data task, and he literally beat me to that report button. I was basically hovering over it just as I realised, oh, there's a report button there.
And Johnny Chips in the chat saying, Liam.
Yeah.
I think it's either red or green.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Johnny Chips because it's Johnny.
Green is super sus.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to be that ecstatic about it unless they're sus. Brilliant.
Let's see.
Brilliant.
No!
Oh no!
You're out this round.
No. I like I say, I walked into electrical and was so focused on where I was going, and then talking about AKS.
I must say it's almost Kubernetes talk, isn't it? No, going back to IoT Edge and the Docker stuff, that's an area that I think is pretty exciting as well, right, Pete? That you can now have just containers running. You can simulate that as if it was running wherever.
I think that's what I really like about the idea is that you can basically go and make things pretty much simulated of whatever environment, as long as you're using. No! I'm watching you, Pete. You simulate whatever you need to make it as close to the real deal as possible. I mean, I guess you still can't. Did you just call an emergency meeting because I stood next to you?
Oh dear. I feel sorry for whoever else is in this.
I just.
Yeah, I know. Because you're good at this.
Oh. I want to know who Cyan voted for.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh man.
So I got something to tell you, gents. I literally, I would have had you in comms, Pete, if I hadn't misclicked. Like I moved my mouse too quickly, and I was just like 2 mil off of the button.
I did that earlier. I vented to kill somebody, and instead of clicking the kill button, I clicked the use button or something like that. And they ran off and reported me.
Yeah.
All of those games, I wasn't the imposter once.
I literally that last one. That was it.
Very good. I enjoyed that.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Chris. You've been a great guest, and you're absolutely welcome to come on every time. What would be a good thing to do at some point is one thing I am asking some of our guests to do. So we're looking at doing a special soon that's more tabletop gaming oriented, because we're talking about doing a charity D&D game.
Okay.
So if you're up for it, we'd love to have you, because we also have a very special guest for folks as well, which we'll reveal.
Has he or she come back to you yet?
Yes.
Oh, that's very interesting. I happen to know who it is, and I'm ecstatic.
Yes. Yes. The only clue we'll give away is that they are not a tech person, but they may be techie in their day job.
That's very elusive clue. That is. I can't give a clue.
I mean,
I'm literally wise.
They absolutely would not be able to do their day job without interacting with tech. I can tell you that.
Exactly. Even if that tech might be CGI.
Maybe. Okay, that's enough clues.
That's enough clues. Yeah. Cool.
Nice.
Well, folks. Thank you very much for watching, Chris. Thank you very much for joining us. I know we've been talking about getting you on for a little while, so it's been great to have you, and it's been a really great discussion. And folks who joined us from the chat, that's been good too. I hope you all had fun. If you've liked this evening's show, please consider not just following us in Twitch, but subscribing to us as well, because Pete needs a new laptop. Ultimately,
yes, I need something. Yeah, geez. But also, by the way, tomorrow, if you're interested in IoT, then myself, Cliff, Aegis, and Benjamin Carbe from the Microsoft IoT team will be hooking up some of these IoT sensors, which elude me. Oh, there we are, and a LoRaWAN gateway to an Azure instance of the Things Network, a server there, private server. So that's going to be a series of Twitch events 2 p.m. GMT over on the Azureish channel that you are on.
It'll be interesting to watch. I mean, I'm unfortunately going to be running a workshop on Docker for work purposes. So what I will be doing is catching that on our YouTube channel later in the evening, because everything that Pete's just said to me is that he's holding some white boxes. So
that was like you with AKS earlier.
Yeah.
They're black boxes, though.
Yeah. And then obviously on Friday we have the latest episode of Johnny Chips in Conversation With, which we'll be putting more info out over the next sort of day or so. But again, thank you very much for watching, folks, and thank you, in fact, Johnny, for cheering into the channel as well just then. And we'll see you tomorrow on IoT Live.
Absolutely. Bye.
Cheers,
Bye,
folks.
everyone.